Sorry guys, at Facebook at home, we're live. Welcome on into Pilates 9. Oh, I've got all giddy. So we've just taught our lovely new flex class. That was my first time teaching it, and I'm feeling really overexcited now. Oh, isn't yoga nice? Endlessly fun. I still get that little woo feeling afterwards. It's always a nice surprise. Flex 15 has just started this week, and I've just taught it for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. So check that out. So if you are a Rise virtual member, you can find that in the catalogue. So we've got quite a lot of that available in the catalogue. So me and Jen and Ashton have all had some fun teaching that so far, and we'll have, I think we'll be, when will it be back in? Friday morning with Jen, 7:30. Have a play. We've got new sculpts starting tomorrow. Thanks, my mum's just reminded me by showing me a can of beans at home. Maybe a can of canned tomatoes. New sculpt is starting tomorrow. So that is, if you've not done sculpt before, it's sort of a yoga Pilates weights fusion. So the benefits of that is we're really thinking about getting into those muscles which are harder to access with body weight alone. So lots of work in the back body, so strengthening those muscles that most people need to strengthen. A really lovely complement to all of our front body strengthening that we do in yoga as well. We'll also be using it to help access the abs and the glutes. And this particular sequence, so this is Sculpt 4, the aim of this one is, I know a lot of you at home probably don't have a full set of weights, so maybe working with some lighter weights, so wine bottles are a great cash out, or cans. So this one I'm going to be using lots of dynamic movement, so particularly designed with those slightly lighter weights in mind. So I'm super psyched for that. So that's tomorrow at 8:30, we're starting that. Also, while I'm on things that are coming up, Rise Summer Party, 20th of June. I'm already excited. And our Rise Christmas Party on the 12th of December. So Summer Party is going to be at the farm. If you haven't heard us talk about the farm before, it's lovely. It's about an acre, and it's got ducks and chickens and ponds. And basically it's a piece of wasteland which has been completely turned into a community farm by the Downham Dream Team. So there's a tree house there. Anyway, so super excited for that. That's on 20th of June. Hopefully we'll be all able to mingle together, hopefully by then. So that's something to look forward to. We'll have lots of nice food. They've got endless salad at the moment. I've been really enjoying a little rocket. Chris has been providing us with rocket at the moment. Oh, Jen's showing me a giant bowl of salad at home. It's also, if you're in the mood for salad, wild garlic season. So I made a wild garlic frittata for breakfast yesterday, and it was yummy. So also 12th of December, that's at the Steel Cauldron, which is another Downham enterprise, new Harry Potter cafe starting in, well, as soon as possible, well, when it opens, in full Broom Hill in Sheffield. So like it on Facebook, follow how they're doing the renovations they're doing at the moment. It looks incredible. So that's going to be super magic and fun, and that's on the 12th of December. So, oh gosh, there we go. I should start Instagram. Stop talking, start doing. Right. So, here we go. Welcome Insta team. Welcome on into Pilates 9. So if you haven't been for a while, this is Thanks, Chris. I'm excited to be here. So this is Pilates 9. So this is a new sequence that started last week. Hey B, how are you? Good. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can also jump over to rise.co.uk/online. It's on the screen, and join in our virtual studio, which means I get to see you here and here, which is great. You can also access all of our tunes via the link on rise.co.uk/online, or you can search for Rise with a 1 and then the name of the class, and that will bring it up as well. All right, so we've got 10 seconds to get started. We're going to start in standing today. So if you want to come up onto standing, grammar's gone out the window, we'll get started there. Beautiful stuff. So you are all super welcome on into Pilates 9. So Pilates 9, we're just going to start off in standing. So standing is something we do all the time, but very rarely give our full awareness to. So thinking about maybe just taking the feet so they're slightly further, hip distance apart, toes facing forwards. Maybe from there, close the eyes. Notice if maybe you're heavy in the heels or in the toes. If you tend to lean into the outer edges of the feet or turn the feet inwards. And just start to spread the toes out and find a strong, even distribution of weight through the feet. So important for balance and for strength in the legs, for injury prevention, finding that balance through the feet. So all four corners of the feet grounding. From there, taking a little squeeze of the core, little squeeze of the glutes. Notice if you tend to stick your bum out behind you or you tend to stick the hips out in front of you, and thinking about just engaging the core, starting to find that lovely strength through the legs and neutrality through the spine. So finding an even distribution, and so you're not tilting the pelvis forwards or swaying back. Opening the palms out so the shoulders start to open, and inhale, feel the crown of the head reach up to the sky. Shoulders relax. Just taking a deep breath in and out here. Feeling that lovely sense of a height and space in the body. One more inhale. Exhale. From there, we're going to just drop the hands down so the palms are facing the back of the room. We're going to start to just take some arm and heel lift. So inhale, floating up high on the toes. Let the arms lift up, shoulders relaxed. Exhale, lowering down with control. So we're inhaling, squeezing the core. Remember, balance comes from the core, lifting the heels up, lowering down. A really great one for strengthening the calves as well. Inhale, notice what goes on with the shoulders. We're trying to practice that ability to lift the arms without the shoulders lowering. So just taking a few more. Inhale, rolling up, thinking about maintaining that length in the spine and seeing if you can control the lower. So we're working on moving balance in this first half of the first little sequence. Inhale and exhale. Release. From there, we're just going to take some lateral movements. Take the palms to face inwards onto the thighs. We're just going to slowly stretch out down the side body. Try to just let this be a movement that extends and lengthens the side body. Try not to lean forwards or backwards. Inhaling, coming up. And exhale. Just moving down the side body, stretching out the side body, starting to mobilize the spine. Try not to actively move the shoulders, but just let that side body bend and the shoulders come with it. Coming up through center. One more. Just a little bend and stretch. And coming through center. Perfect. So hopefully feeling a little bit more space in the spine now, starting to feel a little bit of awareness. Taking the toes out slightly this time, taking the feet slightly wider than hip distance and the fingertips to the temples. So squeezing in the core, elbows coming out wide, so we're feeling that stretch of the chest, inhale, and exhale. We're going to sink down low into a squat. So notice what's going on with the knees. You want the weight to be coming into the heels, the knees not moving too far forward, so feel the hips move out behind you like you're moving into a chair. Feel that strength in the quads and the glutes, and then squeeze the core, power on up. So just staying here if you like, so we're just lowering and lifting. Remember, Pilates is all about slow, controlled movements, all about muscular awareness. So don't worry about depth, focus on that sense of strength and engagement. So thinking about staying there, keeping the chest lifted, remembering to breathe. Or if you're ready, we're going to take it into a little balance. So we're going to lower, squeeze, and then we're going to drive opposite elbow to knee, squeeze the core, rotate, and return back to that squat. So do feel free to stay in that squat if you prefer. If you like, we're taking that knee drive, opposite elbow to knee. Don't worry about how far it comes. That elbow and knee don't have to come all the way together. We're just thinking about squeezing, twisting. So this is a standing oblique crunch. Really fantastic for the abdominals, for the side body. So we're getting into the lower abs, into the obliques. Really great way to practice balance as well. Try and set that foot down really slowly. Almost imagine you're trying to be as quiet as possible with your feet. We're practicing that ability to find control and balance. A really great way to strengthen and a really great skill to develop. If you want to take it further, we move from the elbow to knee twist, and then you can extend arm and elbow, bend and reset. So option to take that extension. So we're lifting from the bottom of that squat. We're taking a knee drive, and from there, squeeze the core. Maybe kick out with the arm, open wide with the arms. So we're spending a little bit longer in that balance, so a little bit more challenging. Also thinking about working a little bit harder into that extending leg. You have to really engage the muscles of that standing leg to find that balance. Try not to lean backwards to achieve that extension. Do feel free to stay just with the knee and elbow twist if you prefer. Working here for 5, so slow and then squeeze on up, twist 4, opening out wide through the chest, mobilizing, Slow and controlled. Hang on in there. You can do it. Well done at home. Keep the chest lifted. Try not to lean forwards. 3. Oh gosh, we're all going like dominoes. 2. Well done. Almost there. And 1. Well done. Nice work. All right, give yourself a little shake. And when you're ready, we're going to come into the center of the mat. One more little standing exercise here. So the left foot is going to be one foot in the center of the mat, and we're going to take the opposite foot out wide. So we're coming into a lateral lunge. So we're taking the hips out behind us, knee over ankle. We're finding a stretch down the inside of the leg. So make sure the butt is coming out behind you. From there, just step back to center with control. So it's stepping out wide with control, and then stepping back to center with control. Really squeezing the core, finding that long spine. Some really slow, controlled movements. Feeling that strength in the legs. We're working on mobility, on flexibility, and on power through the legs. Squeeze the core. Feel how the abs come into play as you move back through center. Option to stay here, making sure the hips are coming out behind you, so you're finding that power through the quads. Or if you'd like to take it further, we're stepping out wide, and then we're squeezing, and we can take a knee drive. Knee drives to chest, and then reset. So we're taking, again, this little knee drive. We're working into a slightly more challenging balance and working to the abs. If you want to set the foot down halfway between the two movements, so we can take that lateral lunge, step to center, and then take a knee drive, you're very welcome to. So make it slow, make it controlled. Really squeeze the core, squeeze the muscles of that standing leg if you're taking that knee drive, and think about when you come up through center, either with or without that knee drive, finding that long spine, that stability. Nice work. Working here for 5, so we're almost there. Thinking about that control. We're going to move into a plank-based sequence next. Hopefully feeling a little bit more heat in the body, a little bit more space. 4, squeeze and drive. Well done. Stepping out wide. Take it up. 3, almost there. 2. And 1. Nice work. All right, give yourself a little shake out. Fantastic stuff. From there, chin to chest, we're going to roll on down. Plant the hands, bending the knees if you need to, and walk the feet back. So we're finding our way into a plank. Hands underneath the shoulders, one long line from heels to head. From there, we're going to take little plank walkouts. So we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees if you need to, finding your way into a floppy forward fold, and then walk it out again. So if you want to, you can just walk the hands a little far bit away and then back in. If you don't want to come into a full plank, no worries. If you want to walk the hands all the way into a plank, feel free. Thinking about squeeze the core. Try to make it controlled. We're getting a lovely bit of dynamic flexibility in the back of the legs as well. If you want to take it further again, feel free to take it forwards and take a little tricep press up at the bottom of that plank, either on the toes or on the knees. Remember, a plank is not only about the arms and the shoulders, but it's also about the core and the legs. So thinking about squeezing in the core, engaging the muscles of the legs as well. So just again, working on strength, starting to work into full body. Taking one more little walk forwards and backwards, maybe a little press up. And then we're going to walk all the way forwards and meet in a table pose. So walk the hands all the way forwards and find your way to table. So hands are underneath the shoulders here, knees underneath the hips, strong through the core. Think about the crown of the head reaching forwards, tailbone tucking. And from there we're going to extend the left foot and the right hand away from each other and slowly reset. So thinking about extending, stretching out, try to really stabilize the spine. Try not to wiggle the hips from side to side. Keep the core engaged. Feel the muscles of the legs engage. So as you extend, squeeze the glutes. Slow return. Option to stay there, working on that balance and strength and stability. If you want to take it into a little squeeze of knee to nose and then extension away, feel free. So opposite knee and elbow move away. Then we're going to squeeze, drive knee to nose, extend away and reset. So option to work there. Taking that knee to nose drive, working into the abs, try not to destabilize. If you want to take it further again, we'll have a little play, tucking the toes, come up into a plank. We can take opposite hand and foot, opposite hand and foot, as much as you can. You're trying not to wiggle from side to side with the hips. You're focusing on control. And if you're feeling super strong today, you can add in a knee drive from that plank. So options there. So we've got loads of options working just the arm and leg lift from table or from plank. We're focusing on that long spine, on control. Maybe taking elbow to knee, squeezing the core in. Working on full body strength and abs. We're going to work here for another 5. So slow, controlled movements. Extend and drive. 4. Well done. With control. 3. 2. And release. Well done. From there, we're going to take a little mobility exercise. So you might want to tuck the toes, or you can leave the toes untucked. We're going to come to kneeling. So coming to a kneeling position, hands on the knees, inhale, and then we're going to exhale, squeeze the glutes, open out through the chest, stretching out, and strong through the core, slow, controlled, lower back down. And then coming straight back up. So if it's not comfortable to bring the hips all the way down to the heels, no worries. The aim of this little exercise, the purpose of it, is to squeeze the glutes. So it's a little hip thrust exercise, a really great way to strengthen the glutes, really important muscle area to strengthen for lower back health. We're also getting into the quads, also super important for lower back health. We're stretching out and mobilizing through the chest. If you've been all day at a desk, this is a great little pose just to start to find space and mobility. Working here for just another 5, so we're squeezing, stretching out. We're going to take into another little plank exercise after this. 4. So slow and controlled. 3. Opening out wide. 2. One more little squeeze and press, stretch out. Well done. And release. Nice work. From there, we're going to take the hands back underneath the shoulders, squeezing in the core and tucking the toes, finding our way to a plank. From there, we're going to send the hips to the heels. We're going to take this little squat plank. So we're sending the hips to the heels, the knees are hovering an inch or so off the mat, and then you can roll forwards back into a plank. So little movement, squeezing in the core, hips to heels, and forwards again. If you need to take it down a level, you can just take a table and then lift the knees off the mat, hold for a count of 5 in a little panther, and then reset in table. So that's an option if you want to take it down a level. If you want to make it harder, you can move from that little pulsy squat plank, and then as you move forward, you drive knee to nose, and then set it back. So hips to heels, knees are just hovering off the mat, and then squeezing, moving back into a plank, knee to nose. So this is a little exercise called vault. We're getting into the quads. Really important for the knees to strengthen the quads. We're getting loads of work for the abs, of course, holding that plank, moving between that plank and that little pulse, and driving knee to nose. And we're getting loads of work for the arms and the shoulders. You're getting all of those same benefits if you're just moving from a panther hold, knees hovering off the mat, and back to table as well. Remember, in Pilates, you're super welcome to rest anytime. Keep focusing on sensation. So don't worry about what level you're working at. Keep thinking about finding that sensation, that strength, feeling into your alignment, working into whatever variation works for you today. So we're going to work here for another 5. We're going to take a little stretch after this. Slow, controlled movements. 4, driving knee to nose. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Nice work. Dropping the knees down. And from there, we're going to stretch out through the shoulders. So inhale, reach that right hand up to the sky, open through the chest. Exhale, posting the right shoulder down to the mat, and the left hand can stretch out in front of you. Deep breaths in and out. So just giving that right shoulder a little shimmy, extending the left hand out in front of you. Maybe bring the right ear down to the mat and breathe. Enjoy that beautiful big deep stretch right down through the right shoulder, stretching out down the left side of the body. and breathe. Inhale. Exhaling. And the spine relax and stretch for 3 deep breaths in. And 2. Well done. 1 more deep, full breath in. And from there, coming back through center, just taking that on the other side. So left hand lifts, inhale, reach up, and exhale, taking your left shoulder down to the mat. Shimmying yourself round, down, and finding a point that feels comfortable. So just stretching out, really deep breaths in. And we've just got 1 more little plank-based exercise after this. So there's a little bit of recovery here. Shoulders are relaxing, spine extending, deep breaths in. And for 3, inhale. Exhale, 2. 1 more deep breath in. And from there, we're going to bring the forearms down to the mat, tucking the toes, and find our way into a forearm plank. If you want to come to a kneeling forearm plank, find your way into a forearm plank, and then drop the knees down so you're maintaining that same straight line from the hips to the head, and you get loads of work there as well. So either holding your forearm plank, or if you're feeling it, we're going to take little tap outs, tapping out with one foot, tapping out with the other foot. Trying not to pike the hips, but focusing on strength through the core. If you want to make it harder again, you can take that foot out to the side, little pulse, and coming back in. So working into the glute medius here, really fantastic way to strengthen the outer glutes. We're keeping the core engaged, pressing really hard with the elbows into the mat. We're working into the shoulders as well. Great stuff, hang on in there. So a kneeling forearm plank, a full forearm plank. You can take a little walk out with one foot with the other. You could be taking a little lateral pulse. Working here for just 5. So hang on in there, deep breaths in and out. 4. So slow and controlled, squeezy movements. 3. 2. And 1. Release the hips down there. So finding your way into a little Sphinx pose there. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Inhale, feel the stretch through the chest, through the back. Inhale. Exhale. So we're just releasing through the lumbar spine, letting the chest lift. Deep breath in. And from there, taking the hands under the shoulders, pressing the hips back towards the heels, and we are going to move into a double leg forward fold from here. So both legs out in front of us, soft bend through the knees. If you're feeling tight today, this might be a great time to grab a strap. If you find it's uncomfortable to sit upright as well, you can always roll up the back of your mat and just use that as a little bit of support, or sit up on a brick. So soft bend through the knees, finding your way into a seated position, finding the sit bones. Inhale, reaching up tall, inhale. Exhale, angle the body forwards, and then I quite like to shuffle my hips back from there. So we're aiming to stretch into the lower back, into the hamstrings. If you'd like to use a strap, feel free. So taking the strap around the ball of the feet, inhaling, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, moving the body forwards. So remember, the aim here is to get into the hamstrings. If you think about actively drawing up the quads, you'll get a little bit of extra stretch into the hammies. Inhale, feel the spine move long, stretch out, lift up, and then move forwards and downwards. So thinking about the shoulders drawing backwards, the chest opening. So our forward fold here, we're aiming to stretch out hammies, lower back. Really important areas to find space in. Often when they get tight, that can cause a tilt through the pelvis, and that causes the whole of the spinal column to misalign. So we're thinking about finding space here. Inhale, extend and stretch. Exhale to fold. Taking 1 more deep breath in. And from there, roll on up. And we're going to move into a L-sit to reverse table, or just a reverse table press. So option 1, we're going to take the hands behind you, fingertips are facing forwards, toes are facing forwards. Squeeze the core. Make sure the heels aren't too close into the bum here, so you've got space. You want to find a point where when you lift, the knees are going to be stacking over the ankles. So when we're ready, we're going to squeeze, lift on up, squeeze the glutes, press on up, and then slowly lower down. So we're thinking about squeezing, lifting on up, pressing on up, feeling the chest open, and then slowly lower down. If you keep the chin to the chest here, that's going to help protect the neck if you've got any neck issues. If you want to take this further, you're going to drop the hips between the hands, keeping the butt off the mat, and then you're going to squeeze on up. So we're moving from this reverse table, and then we're squeezing the core really hard, keeping the butt off the mat as much as we can, pressing hard with the hands into the mat, squeezing the core, and then rocking back again. So welcome to just take the reverse table press, or you can sweep it back and then power on up. So this is a fantastic full body exercise, one of my absolute favorites. It is fiery, but we're getting into the quads, into the glutes, we're getting an extension through the front side of the body, we're working into the arms, into the abs, everything going on here. Nice work. Working here for another 5. So slow and controlled, really squeeze and lift. 4. Well done. 3. Peel on up. 2. And 1. Come on down. Nice job. Awesome stuff. From here, we're going to move into a flexibility, mobility, and strength exercise. So we're going to take the legs out wide into a wide leg. Again, if this doesn't feel comfortable, you've got lots of options. You can either sit up on a brick, or if you prefer, you can also bring the soles of the feet together. So either legs out straight or soles of the feet together, your choice. Well, what we want to do here is find the sit bones. So actively make sure you maybe move the butt out of the way, find the sit bones, and we're sitting up tall. So if you've got the soles of the feet together, exactly the same, you're sitting up tall, focusing on length. We're going to take the arms out wide, inhale, and exhale, rotate. Inhale, lift, exhale, rotate. So we're taking an exercise called saw. So if the legs are wide, we're inhaling, exhaling. You can aim for the toes. Don't worry if you're not quite getting there. What we want to do is inhale, lift up, exhale to stretch. So inhale, reach, exhale, move on over. So although we're working on flexibility and mobility here, we're thinking about particularly getting into the lower back, twisting out through the spinal column, keeping the arms wide, opening through the chest. This should also feel like a strengthening pose. So maybe flexing the feet and squeeze the core. When you come through center, lift, extend, and take it wide. We're keeping those arms active, so the fingers are really spreading out. Should be feeling loads of work in the arms here as well. We're stretching out with the arms, essentially keeping those arms held up quite high for quite a long time, which always is a great way to strengthen and tone the upper arm. So thinking about inhale, reaching up, exhale, twist. Try and feel that rotation through the spine. Deep inhale and exhale. So working here for another 5. Really fantastic way to dynamically stretch into the hamstrings, into the hips. 4. Deep inhale. Exhale. 3. Feel that power, that lift through center. Beautiful stuff at home. Looking good. 2. Inhale. Exhale. And 1. Release. Nice work. Swing your legs back out in front of you. We're working into the lower abs here. We're going to work a little sit-up set. So we're going to start with the top of a sit-up. So planting the feet down on the mat, squeezing in the core, sitting up tall here. So you can start off holding onto the knees. As before, the closer the heels are into the bum, the harder it's going to be. So start off with them a little further away. So you've got that sense of powering and pressing the feet into the mat. Lifting up, shoulders back, squeeze the core, inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, squeeze the core, roll back just as far as you can, and then you're squeezing, powering on up. So we're using the core to control that lower, and then to lift ourselves back up. If you need to use a little bit of strength from the hands, feel free. Keeping the chin to the chest, we're making sure that it's the abs that are powering this movement. So essentially you're working the top half of a sit-up. If you feel like what's going to work for you, you can take the hands out in front of you and then lift on up. This makes it just that little bit harder. So we're using that strength. Try and keep the feet grounded here. So we're using that strength of the abs. If you want to make it harder, the feet can come closer in towards the hips, and you can roll lower and then squeeze on up. What we want to avoid here is any sense of pain in the lower back. So just working in at your level. So this exercise and the next one, I really like these as the alternatives to sit-up. Sometimes taking a normal sit-up Can be for some people quite uncomfortable if there's any issues with the neck or the lower back. So these two exercises, both really great way of accessing that same muscle group without putting any strain on the body. We can start to really feel into that lower, squeeze the core, lift, power on up, shoulders relaxed. Nice work. Working here for 5. So feeling how much effort is both to lower and to lift. Both sides of the movement equally important. 4. Well done. 3. Perfect. 2. And when you're ready, we're going to roll all the way down to lie on our backs. So finding your way to lie down on your back. And from there, we're going to hug the knees in. Essentially, we're going to take the opposite movement. So we're going to start at the base of the spine and roll on up, palms face down or over your head, lower back on the floor. And we're squeezing the abs to lift the tailbone off the floor, slow lower back down. So don't worry about how far you're going here. Don't worry if it feels like you're not really doing anything, if you're not really lifting very far. As long as you can get that strong sensation of engaging the lower abs, you're in the right place. So we're keeping the back of the neck long, chin to chest. So you're getting that length through the spine. We're squeezing the abs to lift and lower. So almost imagine it's the contraction of the abs that brings the top of the hips to meet the lower rib cage, and you find that extension through the lower back. If you want to make this harder, you can, once you've lifted the hips off the mat, then extend the legs and lower the back down to the floor. Take a double leg lower, just as far as you can lower the legs without the lower back arching, and then you're drawing the knees into the chest and starting again. So squeezing the core to lift, keeping those hips lifted as you extend the legs, and then slowly lowering down with control. So moving slow with control. Shoulders relaxed. So option just to work those little pelvic rolls. A really strong exercise, super fiery way of isolating those lower abs. Remember to control the lift, maybe a little hold at the top, control the lower. Or if you want to, add in that extension through the legs. The reason we say in a double leg lower to only go as far as the lower back stays on the floor is because we want to make sure that the abdominals are controlling this movement. We don't want to start to bring the back muscles into play. We want to avoid any strain on the lower back and really target those lower abs. So when the lower back starts to arch off the floor, that often means the lower abs aren't powering the movement anymore. So that's why we keep that awareness on using the back as a guide to our limits. Working here for another 5, so slow, controlled movements, drawing the knees in. 4, remember to breathe, hang on in there. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Give yourself a little squeeze. Ooh, that's got me. Plant the feet down. And a final little set before we move into some side body. We're going to work into a roll up or a roll over or a sit up. So option 1, palms are face down on the foot thighs. You're going to chin to just squeeze the core. Use the squeeze of the core to let the fingertips float up. So a little roll up and you're rolling down again. Remember, this movement is all about abdominal contraction. It's that squeeze of the abs that's lifting and lowering. If you don't want to work there, you can always return to those pelvic rolls. If you want to take this further, hands over the head, feet out straight, squeeze the core, chin to chest. We're rolling on up, sitting up, and you can take a nice little forward fold there if you're feeling like it. So roll on down. Remember, you want to aim for sequential control of the spine. So chin to chest, feet stay grounded, rolling up, rippling up, sitting up at the top, maybe a forward fold, and then we're rolling down with that same control. If you want to take this into a full sit-up, rock on. So we're taking chin to chest, squeezing the core, lift on up, and lower. So you want to think about accessing that same set of muscles that we accessed in the last 2 exercises and putting it together. Remember, you want to control the lower, squeeze the core, and the lift. Perfect. Nice work. Fantastic stuff. Working here for 5. So slow, controlled movements, lifting the top. We're going to work into the lower body next, into the side body. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Fantastic stuff. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch. And from there, we're going to roll into one side. find our way to lying. So we're going to work some of the side lying leg series. So we're stacking hip above hip. If you need to place a pillow underneath that bottom hip for a little bit of extra comfort, feel free. If you find it quite unstable, you can always bend this bottom leg. From there, we're going to flex the top foot and we're going to squeeze the core, press out with that top foot and lower. So you really should feel it in the outer side of this leg. So we're flexing to lift to about 45 and lowering again, really focusing on slow, controlled movement. So squeezing. You should feel like that all of the muscles at the top of that leg are firing. That's why we're flexing. We're keeping that sense of squeeze through the core, stability through the spinal column. So squeeze, really kick out and lower. Make it as slow and controlled as you can. Almost imagine you're working against resistance, working here for 5. So slow and controlled. 4, so we're getting into the outer thigh here. This is a really great one, often for healthy knees. 3, deep breaths in and out. 2, and 1. From there, we're going to point that top leg, and we're going to hover it about a foot or so above the bottom one. From there, we're going to squeeze the core, and we're going to lift the bottom foot to meet the top, and lower it. So we're squeezing, lifting, and lowering. So you should feel loads of work still in that top leg as you point and extend. Again, pointing the toes, really great for helping us access the hammies. And we're lowering and lifting that bottom leg, so we're getting into the outer glute, a little bit of work for the side body. Working here for 5. So slow, controlled, squeezy movements. 4, well done. 3, 2, and 1. Lower both toes down, point both toes, engage the core, and we're going to lift both at once, lower both at once. So again, we're really firing up into the outer legs. We're pointing the toes, squeezing the core, getting a little bit of work for the side body as well. So make it fiery, make it strong, really feel those muscles start to get involved. Working here for 5. So slow, lower and lift just as far as you can. 4, well done. 3, working into the side body. 2, and 1. Roll onto your back there. Nice work. Quick little stretch. So take whatever was the top leg, the one that's probably feeling pretty sore, and we're going to take it onto the opposite ankle. So ankle to knee, and we're taking a pigeon. So option to stay here if this feels like enough of a stretch for you. If you want more, taking the hands through and taking them around the back of the thigh or the back of the shin. So we're taking a pigeon stretch. Little figure of 4 stretch. Deep breaths in. And out, shoulders are relaxing, spine is extending. Full steady inhales. Exhales. Well done. Working here for just another 3. Deep breath in. And out, drawing in, stretching in. 2. Releasing right down through the hip. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Unraveling there. And we're just going to spin around and we're taking that on the other side. So bringing yourself to lie on your opposite side. Remember, set yourself up if you need to use a pillow, if you want to have a bend of that bottom leg, whatever feels nice. Remember, we're going to start off with flexing. So finding that starting position, remember the core is engaged, flexing that top foot, really extend power into the leg, lifting to about 45, and then lowering again. So we're flexing that foot to really help activate the muscles of that leg. Getting into the inner and outer thigh, into the outer glutes here. So we do a lot of work on glute max, getting into glute med here, often a muscle that can end up a little out of balance, and that can cause instability in the knee. So really important to get into all of the muscles of the body, into the legs, and work that here in this side lying leg series. So really power up, make it slow, make it powerful. Really imagining you're working against resistance, or you're pressing your foot out in water, so you're really slowly lifting and lowering with power. Well done. Working here for 5. Slow, controlled movements. 4. Nice work. 3. Well done. Remember, flexing, make sure you're energizing all the way down that leg. 2, almost there. And 1. All right, we're pointing the top toes. The top foot is hovering just a little over the bottom. We're going to lower and lift the bottom foot to meet it. So top foot stays exactly where it is. The bottom foot lowers and lifts to meet it. Feeling that work in the outer glute. Feeling all the muscles of that top leg firing up, keeping the core engaged. Well done. Working here for 5. Slow, controlled movement. Squeeze to lift and lower. 4. Nice work. 3. Lifting and lowering. 2. And 1. Release both toes down. Point both toes. Engage the core. And we're lifting and lowering both legs at once. Find a little bit of work here for the outside of the legs. Keep the core engaged. Feeling that work in the side body. Nice work. Working here with control, with power. For 5. Lifting and lowering. 4. Squeeze. Move with control. Try not to drop the legs, but lower with control. 3. Well done. 2. Almost there. 1 more. And release. Nice job. Rolling onto your backs there. And we're going to take whichever was just the top leg onto the opposite ankle. And you might be staying there in that figure of 4, or it might be that you can take the hands through to the back of the thigh or the shin, drawing the legs closer in and finding that big deep stretch down the back of the legs. Shoulders are relaxing, spine is long. Taking that steady flow with the breath in and out. Back of the neck is long, spine extending, big deep stretch through the back of the leg, through the hips. Working here for 5, inhaling, exhaling. 4, deep breaths in and out. 3, just releasing here, stretching out. We're going to move to a little bit more abs to finish. 2, 1 more, inhale, exhale, and unravel it. If you've ended up facing the wrong way on the mat like I have, you might want to spin yourself around. All right, and then find a little bit of lower abs to finish. So starting off, lower back is on the floor. We're going to bring the knees over the hips. Lower back is on the floor. Take the hands behind the back of the head, chin to chest, elbows wide. Inhale and exhale. We're taking opposite elbow to knee, squeezing in the core, keeping the lower back on the floor. Inhale and exhale, crunch and twist. So it's a nice little bicycle crunch, keeping the core engaged, crisscross, and working into the lower abs, into the obliques. If you need to take it down a level, you can keep one foot planted as you cross. So you plant one foot, squeeze the core, bring opposite elbow to knee, and return. So you're very welcome to take it down a level by keeping one foot planted. If you're feeling strong today and you want to make it harder, both legs are straight. So we lower a straight leg as we cross elbow to a straight leg. So we're keeping both legs straight, squeezing the core and working that same upper body twist. So that's your hardest option. If you want to take the intermediate option, we've got a bend in the knees. We're taking chin to chest, squeeze and cross crunching, making sure both hips stay grounded, lifting up a shoulder. Or if you want to take it down, really slow and controlled, plant one foot down. You're getting all the benefits wherever you're working. Remember, it's all about maintaining control and alignment in Pilates, so just work at your level. Working here for 5, slow and controlled, squeeze and cross. 4, well done, we're almost there. 3, hang on in there. 2, and 1, release. Nice job. Give yourself a little squeeze. All right, we'll take a quick little stretch and then one more little lower ab exercise. So starting off, we're going to take the left foot out long on the mat, hugging with the right knee. Take the left hand to the right knee and draw the right knee across the body. Making sure you you're stacking hip above hip here and then extending the right arm away. So we're moving the left knee and the right hand and the right knee away from each other, stretching out. Inhale. And exhale, relaxing down. So we're finding that beautiful big stretch through the spine, maybe a little stretch down the outside of that right leg that's worked so hard. Working here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out, releasing there. Right foot is extending, hugging in with left. Inhale. And exhale, take a twist. So we're taking the right hand to the left knee, drawing the left hand away, stretching out long, inhaling. And exhale, letting that left shoulder relax, breathing into the outside of the left leg, inhaling. Exhaling. So we're finding that beautiful big deep stretch right down through the outside of the left leg, letting the left side of the chest relax, and breathe. Full steady breaths in and out. Well done. Working here for 3, inhaling. Exhale. 2. 1 more really deep, full breath in and out. From there, coming back through center, we've got one more exercise. So it's either going to be a rise 100 or a hollow body rocker. So if you're taking the 100, lower back is on the floor, knees over hips, shins parallel with the mat. You can hold there. You can take chin to chest, reach forwards with the arm. You could be extending with the legs and then beating the arms, making sure the lower back is on the floor. So either bent knees, chin to chest, squeezing the core. If that's too much, release the shoulders. If you want to take a hollow body rocker, we are extending arms and legs away from each other. So you take this little dish pose and then you are rocking forwards and backwards, squeezing in the core. So you're finding that integrity through from toes to head. It's a really fiery one. So either a rise 100 or a hollow body rocker. Feel free to move between the two. Remember, if you're in that rise 100, you're breathing, you're hoping on hurry up counting, you're keeping the lower back on the floor, making sure that there's no strain in the neck. If there is, you're keeping chin to chest or the shoulders down. If you're in the hollow body rocker, you're squeezing the core, using that core to maintain control, working wherever we are for another 5. Deep breaths in and out. Remember to breathe. 4. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3. Almost there. 2. And 1. Woo! Release. Great job, team. Give yourself a little hug in. And when you're ready, plant the feet down on the mat. Taking the elbows out, the palms out wide. And just give the legs a little windscreen wiper from side to side. Just a little mobilization through the hips, through the spine. And then from there, drawing the knees in towards you, taking the hands to the knees and just drawing some lovely big sweeping circles with the knees away from each other. So mobilizing, releasing through the hips and towards each other. So again, just releasing through the hips. From there, if you take both knees together and as one, draw them in a circle. So you're just trying to draw some circles the lower back, one way and the other way. And then taking a happy baby. So either taking a half happy baby, drawing the knees in towards the armpits, stretching out through the hips, or take the hands to the big toes, drawing the knees in towards the armpits. So any variation, we're just aiming to find a lovely little stretch down the inside of the legs. You can extend the lower back down the floor, stretching out through the back body. Deep breath in. And one more really deep, full inhale. Exhale. And from that, releasing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall out wide, tucking the shoulders down the back of the neck long, inhaling. Exhaling. So just letting the hips fall open. If you're comfortable, you might want to stay here. If you'd prefer to stretch out long with the legs, rock on. Just aiming to find any supine position, any position lying down where you can relax. It can also be nice to take the feet to the outer edge of the feet and let the knees knock in. Absolutely anything at all. Closing the eyes. And just taking a final 3 deep grounding breaths, letting the body reset. Letting the mind and the breath reset. Inhaling. Exhaling. 2 more deep breaths in. And out. 1 more deep, full, expansive inhale. Exhale. And from there, give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch. And rocking and rolling up and over or via a ball on one side, finding your way to any final comfortable seat. So letting the sit bones ground, the spine be long. Engaging the core. When you're ready, inhale, reach up tall, interlock the hands, stretch up tall, maybe let the gaze lift. Inhale, reach and extend and lengthen through the side body. And exhale, chin to chest, pressing the backs of the hands towards the front of the room, drawing the shoulders down and apart, stretching out, deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pressing the chest forward, drawing the hands out wide, stretching out through the chest. Deep breath in. And out. And give yourself a little shoulder roll there. Have a little shimmy. And have a super awesome rest of your night. Thanks all so much for joining. Thanks for joining on Zoom, on Insta, on Facebook. All the different people. High fives, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your day.